Instruction, golf news, equipment, travel, interviews, course profiles, and more. Your weekly fix of all things golf is about to begin. It's the Flagstick Podcast with your hosts, Jeff Potter and Scott McLeod. All right, welcome everybody to the Flagstick Podcast. I'm Jeff Potter. He's Scott McLeod. And we're happy to have our good friends at Srixon Golf sponsoring our podcast again this week. Srixon Performance is more than just a number, it's a feeling. One that starts at the forge, introducing ZXI irons with iForged, a groundbreaking achievement in shaping, pressing, and heating that's taken Srixon feel to an entirely new level. ZXI irons from Srixon is how forged should feel. Visit Srixon.ca for more information and for the full lineup of Srixon products. Well, of course, we want to encourage you to follow us across all of our social media networks, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Facebook. Subscribe to us on Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. And we encourage you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We always do. You seem to be starting to do that. Like us, click that notification bell. Make sure you never miss a single episode of this wonderfully great, awesome podcast. More great stuff goes up on the YouTube channel all the time. So,
and it's been busy up there. So
it's a busy.
So,
and we like that. YouTube's a great place to put it. Oh, Scott. It's hockey season for one thing, which is this is a golf podcast, but it's hockey season. Yes. We've talked about the fact that I'm coaching with my brother Sean and my son Brandon.
Are you guys done tryouts yet?
Tryouts are over, thank God. Oh my God, right. I hate tryouts. I just they're hard because especially once you get kind of past the first releases, right? And then you're kind of what you're left with is really every player that made it through the first set of releases, and even some of the ones that didn't make it through the first set of releases, but everyone that made it through belongs at this level.
Yeah,
like that's the thing. It's like they all should be on this team.
Yeah, it just becomes a numbers thing, right? Like I know that from coaching. Same thing, volleyball. You know, every year club that I have, you know, we have to cut 30 kids, and it's the same thing. It's like, man, you get down to like 10. It's like, where do I put them?
Well, and that's it. And for us this year, we're all non-parent coaches, so we have no kids on the team.
That's good.
We have no. Do I know people? Sure, absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
But there was no influencing by anything. Like this team was picked based solely on what the three coaches saw on the ice during the tryout process. And that meant some kids that might have been on the team last year might have been released. And frankly, I didn't really even know that until after the tryouts were long over, that who was not on the team the year before and who was like I didn't know.
That's
and
actually
that's how
good,
it's supposed to be. I'm not supposed to know. So it was a very good process for us.
And now you're ready for the season.
Now we're busy. We've had 2 practices already with them. Our parent meeting is done. The budget's approved.
Now you can get down to business.
Getting right into it, and it's a good group. And it's going to take some time to kind of get them gelling a little bit because there are some new bodies on the team that weren't there last year. So, but we'll get there, and it's going to be fun. We got a tournament coming up in October the 9th in Halton Hills. So. Yeah, I know. Just boom, and then that's even before the regular season starts.
I think I have kids that I coach playing golf tournaments still after that. So.
Oh, really? I know it's crazy. We're still kind of in that sort of in between season. Some kids on the team, one of the kids on the team plays football, and they're still finishing up football, right? So, and he's one of our goalies. So it's like. He's got to miss some stuff. I mean, I get this, you shouldn't be missing hockey because really? No, I mean, this isn't the NHL here. The kid plays football. If he wants to play football and hockey and he misses a practice or 2 because of football, then good on you. Go play football. I don't care.
Love that.
I mean, we're in a multi-sport world here.
Yeah, 100%. And then there's a lot of over specialization, and we see that in golf as well. And that's one thing I always encourage kids is like, you play hockey, you play basketball, you play volleyball, go play those.
Yeah,
go play. You'll be a better.
Absolutely.
be a better athlete. So,
Absolutely.
and in the end, that's what matters, and makes them happy, and spend time with your friends and do all that stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's all good. There's lots of time to play the other sports. So, anyways, what's
Exactly.
going on this
So,
week?
what we're gonna do on the
Got
show
a few
this week
things.
is, yeah, we do have some news to catch up on, but that's kind of a normal thing. We kind of
Yeah.
throw a little bit of that in there. Um, we're gonna sort of dig into the upcoming Ping Challenge Cup, and we've talked about this before. This is the Ryder Cup style of event that, yeah, again, eyeing me up like I'm a pork chop. Uh, the Ryder Cup style of event that's played where the head professionals play against the assistant professionals.
From the PGA of
And
Ottawa. Yep.
this year we're back at Smugglers Glen down in the Thousand Islands region again in Aquay for our two day event.
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually going to be at this point still, nothing's come up. I'm still going to be able
Woohoo!
to make it down and fulfill my captain's duties as the captain of the head professionals.
I mean, who else am I going to drink coffee with sitting in a cart for 2 days?
I know, I know, I know. And so it'll be kind of fun. We're
Yep.
going to talk about that a little bit, who the players are,
A little
and
bit about the course, couple
some,
different
yeah,
things.
exactly. Some talk about that. And we're going to take sort of a look at one of the long-standing golf courses in our region that's especially fun to play, especially in the fall, given time of year it is. But we won't reveal that until we get to the back nine.
Sure.
Who we can talk about. But I was there recently.
You were.
So let's get to our front nine, Scott, so we can get talking about all this great stuff. Front nine presented by Metcalfe Golf Club, a natural setting, a pleasant challenge. There's still plenty of time left in this golf season. The course is in great shape. Book and pay online. Save 10%. Popular game passes are still available and always available, 10, 20s, and 30s. Plus, check out the event series for the last of the last couple of fun tournaments. Lessons are always available with their head pro, Nick Search. And, of course, you need to enjoy the great food of Hickory's Restaurant. Visit metcalfegolf.com. Okay.
Yeah. Busy weekend in pro golf. Now, I've got a couple of notes in here on a couple different things. There were a bunch of other things happening with a bunch of Canadians, but we can get started with the big stuff and they'll fill it in after that. How's that?
Well, the big one, and I got to be honest,
Yeah,
didn't watch, didn't care.
I watched
Honestly,
the
was not engaged in the
No.
Procore Championship this weekend at all.
No.
But Scottie Scheffler comes from behind
Yeah.
and wins his 6th tournament of the year, his 19th PGA Tour victory. It was 67 in the final round, but he had a 64 in the third round too. So I mean, he kind of set himself up for this. But
yeah, and this is kind of what we talked about though. It was him and Ben Griffin. Lanto Griffin was in there, but Ben Griffin, it's like here's two members of the Ryder Cup team. Spawn was in the mix too, a little bit further down, but it still felt weird for to have the fall events and these guys playing. Yes, I know they have the rights to play.
Oh, absolutely,
and so forth. But again, you feel bad a little bit for the people that are battling to get their cars. Like Lanto Griffin was exactly that, who ended up in the mix there. He went from 142 to 100 in the points, and he even said it. He's like, "Oh man, I wish Scottie wasn't playing this week." So, I mean, that guys say that all the time, I know, right? So, there's a good stat actually. Ryan Belanger had a great stat. He went through all the events this year. So Scottie's played 20 events, obviously 6 wins, 17 top tens. There was only, he said, this might be a better way to decide who gets PGA cards. Who beat Scottie Scheffler in a tournament this year? There's only 57 players that actually were ahead of Scottie Scheffler in a tournament for the entire season.
It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, it was.
It's kind of a weird one because I mean, it's a PGA Tour event. The Ryder Cup is coming up. Obviously, I guess he wanted to play to kind of make sure that he was keeping his game sharp leading into next weekend. But I mean, I don't know. Like, if does he need to? I guess
probably not. I mean, he, as we said, he's got the right to, and they had their team meetings and stuff there, which they could have had.
So how many guys from the Ryder Cup team played in it? All of them except Bryson, right?
pretty much.
I know JT was like at the bottom of those that missed the cut or made the
Yeah,
cut.
there was, it was pretty much all of them. A couple, I don't know if any of them played BMW at all. No, I don't think so. They were over here, but yeah, it was. But again, it's like if you're doing it from a bonding perspective, you can do that away from the golf course.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand what the point was, to be honest with you. I mean, he's got another win. Good for him. Okay,
Yeah, but again, as far as keeping your game sharp, they've played the whole season. They're competitive.
mhm.
They're going to go right now. I mean, the European team's already there at Bethpage. The U.S. team is all there, even though it's 8-9 days still before it
Yeah, but
happens.
they're going to play practice rounds and walk the course and do all that,
Exactly.
have their team meetings and
Exactly. So they're not. It's not like they're going to lose their game if they didn't play this current week, right? Yeah. So I don't know.
I don't understand the motivation behind playing. I understand why they say they did it, but I don't see how playing in the Procore is a bonds anything. It's an
Oh no.
individual tournament, and they
Yeah.
probably most of them didn't even play together. So
Well,
how is
plus
that a bonding event?
Yeah, plus they're playing the Silverado Resort versus Bethpage Black.
Yeah, so
So
like
it's
a
like,
pitch and putt by golf course PGA Tour standards, it's like,
sure, exactly. It's a resort course. So
yeah.
yeah,
So I just don't understand it. I understand the methodology or the
yeah,
behind it. I just don't
yeah.
see how it does anything. And
No.
like I said before, this is a very, very, very important time of year for those that are outside that top 100.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And they need all the points they can get in the fall FedEx Fall Series
Hmm.
to help get their cards back for the following year. And there's 12 guys, 11 guys that just took away 11 spots,
Yeah.
plus the opportunity for some guys that most likely would have finished behind them.
Hmm.
For every player that finished in the top 10 or top 20, that's 20 guys that finished outside the top 20 that might have been looking to get that card. Now, you can argue and say, well, if they want to get the card very bad, they got to beat the best. Well, no, yes, that's true, but when it comes to the fall series, the expectation is that you're not out there trying to beat the best because
Yeah.
the best have already have their cards locked up and are off in Tahiti and
Yes,
Hawaii,
exactly.
wherever they're
Yeah.
going. They're not
Yeah.
playing the Procore.
Yeah.
Those
Exactly.
fall series events are usually meant for those that are grinding out, trying to get their
Yeah.
spots on the PGA Tour again, and you just kind of took that away from some people. I'd be
Now,
curious
did
to know how many guys that are on the bubble with getting their card, ended up finishing behind Ryder Cup guys, and
a bunch,
I
and
know there's more events, but still.
guys were ticked for sure. One last note for that tournament: Mackenzie Hughes had a pretty good week. So T7 for there. There's a guy obviously trying to move up,
Yes.
and maintain status, and also get into that sort of that top 70, get in that area where he can get into some of the other bigger events and stuff like that. So good play by him. But his buddy Corey Connors went over to the BMW and played. Missed the cut over there, I believe. But the BMW PGA Championship was a little bit different over in Europe. Obviously, it's their signature event. Alex
Yes.
Noren, who's the assistant captain for the Ryder Cup,
Nice.
ends up winning it. So, hey, maybe if they need a player to sub in, they can
Yeah,
sub
I
him
guess
in.
so.
So,
It's,
so
it's
he wins
pretty
that.
good between Keegan Bradley not playing on
Yes,
the Ryder Cup team
exactly.
and
Yeah,
Alex Noren being assistant, and there's two guys that are
they're gonna have a
obviously still at the
match.
peak of their game right now. So, yeah, that's pretty cool. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
it was pretty funny, just the pictures, the European team, getting ready to jump on a jet and fly over to Bethpage, and they had to wait for Alex Noren because obviously he was busy winning a tournament and picking up a 1.5 million and having to do all his media obligations and stuff afterwards or whatever. But yeah,
Nice.
so good stuff there. But
That's pretty
yeah,
cool.
anyways,
Charlie Hull got a victory on the LPGA Tour this weekend.
he did.
Probably a win's a win's a win.
Yes.
Uh, Probably not the most exciting way to win a golf tournament, but
No, when they get handed to you.
kind of the silver platter was laid right out there as
Gino.
oh my gosh, Gino, 4 putts on the final green.
Yeah, I didn't see this live. I caught the post and stuff afterwards, and that makes it 25 different winners so far this year on the LPGA tour, which is wild. Just not to have any repeat winners, but a 4-putt, that's got to sting.
Oh, that's got to sting in a huge way.
And those are hard to watch. I think I've chronicled it here before, and we've talked about watching a young man lose the Ontario Junior years ago after it was 5 to get on the green and 4-putt on the final. And you just don't. I mean, once someone struggles, and in this case, she didn't struggle; she was on the green regulation. But once that player sort of, kind of gets on that green, everybody's sort of like, oh, okay, easy. It's a pro. They're gonna 2-putt, maybe 3-putt. To 4-putt, it's just like, it just takes the air out of place.
It's heartbreaking to watch.
Yeah.
You're happy for Charlie Hull. She won a tournament, but I mean, even Charlie Hull's probably sitting there going, oh my God, this is.
Yeah. Like, how do I deal with
watch? Like, I can't wait to get up there and hoist that trophy.
Yeah, exactly. You feel
Yay, look at how I played this week.
Yeah, exactly. Like, okay, sorry. Thanks, Gino. Appreciate it. Trying to think there was a couple other good pro finishes. Oh yeah, one quickly. Richard T. Lee, who's Canadian, actually finished second on the Asian Tour on an event in Korea. He's actually just now moved up. Taehoon Lee is actually his Korean name, but he's actually now moved up to the 5th highest ranked Canadian in the world rankings. So wow. I mean, he's played very well. He's played very well for many years, mostly in Asia, and he actually got ahead of Adam Hadwin this week. So
wow.
So yeah, he's moving up there, and he's somebody to go back and forth with on occasion on Instagram and stuff like that. And good dude, and nice to see him playing well. So yeah,
cool. Yeah. So I guess, are we excited about the Ryder Cup?
I sort of wanted to take the temperature because, I mean, I know we chatted about it a bunch before, but it's like, okay, now we're just over a week out. Are we stoked? Are we like intrigued?
We're supposed to be.
Yeah, I think you can give your opinion. I'll just give mine really quickly, but I'm interested to see it. I'm not a I'd say I probably lean more to the European side versus the American side of it. I don't know if I love kind of what some of this stuff has become. Like, it was like, they announced yesterday who the Celebrity Ryder Cup thing. I didn't even know they did one in 2023 ahead in advance. I don't need to see Miranda Lambert facing off against Timu Solani in a golf tournament prior to the Ryder Cup.
Is that actually a thing?
It is a thing. So it's like when you look at the list of
what is that?
It's just like the celebrity match thing. One day it's like a 2-person scramble thing. They face, I don't know. Again, it's like, really, do we need it? Like, sorry, there's enough hype already for the Ryder Cup as it is.
But to see that, to me, that's not hype.
No,
to me, that's
fluff.
Yeah, it's fluff. Dumbing it down so much. Like,
yeah. Like, I don't think it's dragging more fans out. I mean, the fans are already paying a lot of money to be there as it is. I don't think they're clamoring to see kind of, Michael Strahan, who's on the, the one side, against some chef that I've never heard of over on the other side or whatever.
Bobby Flay. Can you beat Bobby Flay?
Bobby Flay is playing. He is on the American
You got to beat
so.
Bobby Flay. It's a whole new, what's he going to... He's gonna make a roast or what? Like,
I don't know. I mean, again, I didn't even realize they did this in 2023. I mean, my question is, who's asking for this? Like, seriously. So,
I don't know. I can't imagine that anybody is.
No.
This is
I think it just takes away from the Ryder Cup rather than
it does. It completely takes away. The Ryder Cup, it doesn't feel the same. It just hasn't felt the same for so long.
Yeah,
and every year they're always trying to make something more out of it than it is. It's a match between Team USA and Team Europe. Mm-hmm. That's it. Yeah. And it's the we remember the war on the shore. We remember the even going back to
but a lot of those were about the golf, right? Now I think what's happened now is it's become such a big commercial entity, and they're just trying to squeeze every last dollar out of it as possible, and that's at some point you think that's going to kind of slap them in the face a little bit. It's
slapping them. To me, it's slapping them in the face right now. Like, it really is. I don't.
And I'm sure some other fans feel that way too.
Am I going to watch it? Yeah, I'm going to
Sure.
watch it.
Yeah.
It's the Ryder Cup. Am I
Sure.
excited about it? I don't know. I mean, I
No.
guess not, because I'm not showing a lot of excitement and emotion about wanting to watch it. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's the players that are participating. It's the fact that you got Scottie Scheffler. Like these guys are just so dry.
Yeah.
It's just like they're almost emotionless. When
I
you
mean,
think about some of the players,
I'm probably more excited to see, the fans in the golf course and that
I'm
aspect
excited to
of
see the
it.
golf course because I know
Yeah.
there was a few changes that they made to Bethpage Black, ahead of this, and um, I'm curious to see how it looks compared to the way it did um, at the U.S.
US Open
Open. Um, you
and the
know,
PGA. Yeah.
I'm curious, like for the golf
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
Um, I'm kind of more, oddly enough, I'm kind of more rooting for the Europeans and curious to see how all that goes down, even though there's a couple of players on the European team that I can do without, Terrell
Sure.
Hatton and John Rahm. But just, I don't know. I'm, I should be pumped about this. I mean, when we were talking about
We'll see
like
if
we
you're
were
more pumped
talking
next
about
week.
like some of the majors coming up and stuff like
Right.
earlier in the earlier shows, and we were like
Yeah.
excited about the U.S. Open and excited about the Open
Mhm.
Championship and the conversations that we were having, and I just don't even from the two of us, I don't seem to sense or feel that same sense of excitement.
Yeah, I think part of it, and this is again, this is my take. Other people could think differently. I think some of it is just golf fatigue. You know what I mean? As far as pro
Yeah,
events, there's so many events all the time happening nonstop or whatever like this. It's like there's no time to have a break and to have that anticipation. So, I mean, there's a reason why the Masters is exciting. It's because you haven't had a major for months and months and months,
yeah,
right? And then people, are ramped up to see it. But I mean, if you had a if you had a major happening every 2 weeks, nobody pay attention. So the
yeah.
same thing for this is that, they start hyping it as soon as as soon as they start taking down the grandstands 2 years ago, they
Hmm.
start hyping, this one. And it's like, okay, well, just give it a little bit of break, give it a little time to breathe.
Yeah,
So we'll see. I mean, again, we're it's later next week, so we're still gonna have some time. Maybe next week when we get together again, we'll be chatting about it and think, okay, all right, now I'm excited or a little bit more, but for whatever reason. But at this point, I think it's sort of mid for me.
yeah. I mean, I know there's storylines and stuff, and we could look at seeing doing the whole Ryder
Mhm.
Cup bit again, but I mean, what are you going to talk about?
Yeah, that's not
It
been
just
said.
doesn't.
Yeah,
No.
unless something really new pops up from a storyline perspective or whatever, it's kind of like, all right, it's just going to be, it is what it is when we get
Yeah,
there.
exactly. We should mention also too the PGA of Ottawa Flagstick.com tour, the Fall Open, which I think is the last
Yeah,
tour
right.
event of the year. Was at Rita played at Rita View, and Austin James
Yes, sir.
out of the great city of Kingston, Ontario, or Bath,
Buff.
Ontario, won the main division in a playoff over Dennis Gerard and James Spernick. Good to see Dennis Gerard having a strong event there too.
Yeah, because he's struggled a bit this year,
Yeah,
and so he's a
he
good
found it.
player. He found
He
it.
found it. Just didn't find one more stroke. Sorry, Dennis.
Yeah, so
Good to see you playing well though. And Chris Bernard won the senior division in a playoff over Chris Barber and Gord Lay.
yeah, there you go.
That would have been a heck of a playoff.
Yeah,
Two
great. And
playoffs. Beautiful.
yeah,
Like
good
to
way to
see that.
finish the last regular event of the season, and we'll talk more about the
Yes. We'll move
last
move
event of the
on to what
season
the
coming up.
actual last event will have to.
Yeah,
I think we might have to move that into the back nine, Scott,
yeah,
because I
we
think we're
might.
getting
So
up
that's
against
all
the
good.
clock here. So the last thing to kind of just mention is that the final field is now set
Yeah.
for the 10th World Junior Girls Championship to be played this week in St. Catharines at the St. Catharines Golf and Country Club in St. Catharines, Ontario. There will be 23 teams battling for the
Hmm.
team championship while also competing for the individual honors. The individual champion is earns an exemption into the 2026 KPC, KPKC. God, CPKC Women's Open at Royal Mayfair Golf Club in Edmonton, Alberta. How come I can't say that? CPKC.
I don't know. You're not the only one. So good field, 69 players in the field. A couple of new teams in there. I think Team India had to withdraw. But yeah, this is 10 years down the road now. We've hosted a few of these in Ottawa. 3 of them have been in Ottawa.
Yeah.
Always great to turn out. Lots of future LPGA Tour players play in this event. You can go back to the Yuka Sassos, the Hyjin Chois, the Hannah Greens, the Brooke Hendersons. They've all played in this championship over the years. It was a great initiative started by Golf Ontario and Golf Canada. And yeah, it's a popular one and definitely one be following. And St. Catharines will be a good layout for them, a good test that has not only hosted the Canadian Tour before, but many other championships. So they'll enjoy that one.
All right. So rather than get halfway through this next topic and then have to take a break, we're going to do that break right now. So we're going to shorten up the front 9 a little bit and get out for a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Ping Challenge Cup. And we're going to talk about a beautiful golf course that we have played that is 110 years old now, and I just recently played it. So we're going to talk about all that when we come back. But for now, we're out. Stay with us. You're listening to and watching the Flagstick podcast with Jeff Botter and Scott McLeod.
How do you forge pure? With more pressure, more precision, more focus, more control. ZXI irons. Pure forged. Pure Srixon.
All right, well, welcome back to the Flagstick podcast with Jeff Butter and Scott McLeod. As I mentioned, we're cut the front 9 short a little bit there so we could start from the top with a couple of topics in the back 9. But our back 9, let's get to the back 9. The back 9 is presented by Falcon Ridge Golf Club. With 27 holes of fun and challenging golf at great rates, Falcon Ridge is a golfing experience you should not miss. Don't forget that Falcon Ridge has built the first TrackMan range facility in Eastern Ontario. TrackMan range is all about exciting, easy-to-use features that provide the ultimate range experience for every golfer at every level. That's practice, games, and virtual golf. Book your tee times or book one of the 10 TrackMan bays at falconridgegolf.ca. And remember, if you're looking at becoming a member of a golf course, Falcon Ridge is a great place to start. If you get your 2026 membership now and you play the rest of 2025 for free. Bonus golf. And Falcon Ridge is one of those courses that stays open significantly later than most. So your 2025 free golf will last you, I'm pretty sure, well into October.
Yeah, get out there, play right till dark, and then you can hop over to the casino across the street.
Nice. The casino is wide open and ready now.
There you go.
We don't encourage gambling, but we don't discourage.
There might be a little bit of gambling in golf. Yeah. Might be a little bit. So, yeah.
They go hand in hand. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get to this back 9, Scott. Now, we're going to start off the back 9 talking a little bit about the upcoming, much more exciting Ryder Cup style of event than the upcoming Ryder Cup. The Ping Challenge Cup. The Ping Challenge Cup.
Yeah.
Now, this has been going on now for, I want to say 15 years, eh? Wow.
This is the 15th year.
Have you ever won? I'm just kidding.
You do not want to know what I was just about to say.
Oh, my goodness gracious me.
I mean, it is 9 to 5.
It is 9 to 5, yes.
Yeah, which we're about to get to, but that's fine.
That's okay. It's okay.
Well, understand. I mean, it is the head professionals versus the assistant professionals, and the reason why we're talking we here, people should know we're the captains on each side. I get to be with the assistant pros. Jeff gets to be with the head pros. I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into it, but obviously the veterans on the head pro side of it will probably generally have a little bit more experience. Usually it really depends on the level of players and stuff. Look at him, stop. I'm not making excuses. But I've got a good team this year. I'm excited. So it's all.
You had a good team last year.
I know, but you just never
And
know
you had a
what's
good
going to
team the year
happen.
before that and the year before that. The difference is that I just had a better team.
Yeah, and the thing is one player can't change the whole thing. You
No.
kind of need everybody be in there. So I do have the PGA of Canada champion this year in Craig Stefferik. He's on our team. He's on my team this year. So he won the national championship. So yeah.
Now, wait a second here. How does this whole who's a head pro and who's an assistant pro thing work anyway?
You do not know?
Well, I do, but how, like,
Depends on their
okay,
classification.
freaking classification.
I mean, yeah. You'll have to talk to Carol Ann about that.
I thought I had.
Why
Craig.
you're losing players?
I thought I had Craig.
No, Craig's not head pro. He's a teaching pro. He's not even a
class he's a teaching pro.
He's not a class A yet. So
should have talked to him before the Ping Challenge Cup. Got to make sure that he got his class A ahead of. I didn't do my due diligence. Hey, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it. Look
eventually they can could end up on your team, but
look at I'm happy with the guys that I got.
Yeah. So really, I mean, we should explain maybe the format of how it goes. I mean, better ball portion kind of day one, and this is nice. This would be the third time it's actually done on 2 days. So you had it happen the one time at Highlands, that it was done on 2 days, and then it became an overnight last year, which was nice. So even though it was 2 days before, a lot of people went home and so forth, this is more of a getaway now. Everybody's able to go down to Smugglers Glen, hang out for the night, go have dinner, jump in the pool, whatever, and then be up and ready to play the next day, which makes it a little bit better for us as a captains because we get to set up our matches on day two, which was more difficult when it was all done in one day.
Yeah, we had to kind of roll it over from the morning best balls. They kind of had to keep everybody grouped together so that the turnaround times were similar.
Yeah, because we just don't have a lot of daylight this time of year, and don't want to have a player not have the ability to have a break kind of in between. So this is good because we can put out our pairings, the first day, and we're not doing our pairings today, just to let people know we're doing this. But we can put together the pairings and then sort of craft based on not just their play going into it, but we can go, okay, how's that person playing? How's that person feeling? Somebody might say after day one, they're like, hey man, I'm hurt. You know what I mean? Whereas, when we had to do all the matches in advance, we just didn't kind of know that. So having it 2 days now makes it a little better. Now you guys whooped us good last year, 14-5 to 9-5 last year. And it's a quality team. You have a lot of those players back again this year. We should say players qualify by earning points throughout the season on the flagstick.com PGA Tour. This is how it's done. And then there's, there's the main picks. There's a couple of seniors that are in there, and there are a couple of ping picks as well that are mixed in there. So the Ping and the sponsor Andre Boris from Ping so graciously sponsors this event. So they get a couple of picks that are in there. So that's how the teams are made.
Yeah.
And we definitely have, a lot of players that, play consistently well sort of every year. So they generally will, kind of be back on this team. And it has become something for all these players to kind of, go after during the year. There's a reason why they want to play in more events and try to play well so they can get this opportunity to come down and play in this event and, have to deal with us.
They do have to deal with us. Now we should talk about the teams.
Yeah.
The head professionals this year will be made up of we have Andy Rahathi, Lee Curry, James Spernick, Dave McDonald, Matt Peterson, Adam Miller, Bill Minkhorst, Marc-Andre Payette, Derek McDonald from Whitetail, Sarah Landry, Chris Barber, and Graham Gunn.
That's a murderer's row of players there.
That's a heck of a good team.
I mean, there's a lot of players here that have not only won zone events, but have won, multiple different things. I mean, Graham Gunn has played on the European Seniors Tour. Lee Curry has played all the way up to the Corn Ferry Tour. Bill Minkhorst probably hits it the furthest of any single person in the zone. Sarah Laundrie used to play on the Symetra Tour, now the Epsom Tour. You get some quality golfers that are on this team.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
But that said, you've got some pretty significant guys there. You've got who do you got? You got Tyler App.
Yep.
Austin James, who just won the fall event at Rideau. Craig Stefaric, who is really, really good.
the current national champion, yes.
For Reggie Harmer.
Yep.
Colin Pitchers, Sean Banfield, Duncan Haywood, Fergus Barron.
Yep.
Pasquale Mangilo, Madison Barber, Chris Bernard, who just won the playoff at Rideau in the senior division of the fall championship. Dave Khalil always seems to be there, eh?
I know, just steady.
So Chris and Dave are the seniors in that, are they?
Pasquale is a senior as well, but I think I'm not sure how he got.
See who's designated. Who's your designated seniors? Because
then
I've got seniors for me. I've got Graham
and Chris.
Just don't see Chris as a senior.
I know.
I don't see Chris as a senior any more than I see myself as a senior, but I guess I would be a senior, right? So
yeah, exactly.
As would you.
I am. Yeah, it's 50 in the PGA of Canada for people that don't know. Amateur obviously is 55. So yeah, but quality. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to pick out the picks. I know, I think we know most of the players here fairly well. I don't really know Fergus quite well, so I know he's a decent player. He's over at the Marshes now, so I'm looking forward to getting in the mix and having him there. But it's going to be a lot of strategy here, based on not only who they're going to be facing off against, but also the golf course as well, and playing the golf course and trying to take advantage of the abilities of each of the players. And as we know at Smugglers in hosting the flagstick.com shootout there's a lot of opportunities on that golf course, and especially in match play.
Yes, this is a great match play golf course. Like, fantastic. It really is a good match play golf course.
Yeah. So, I mean, that really plays into it from a strategy standpoint of like, okay, who's got the length, we can take advantage of certain things, who's super accurate that, can take advantage of some of those par threes. At what point can these players be a little bit more aggressive? I mean, we'll get to the course here in a second, but yeah, it's the skills of those players and then matched against the other players. It's like, all right, do you want to put an aggressive player against an aggressive player? Do you want to put somebody who's a little bit more conservative that, maybe is not as volatile from a scoring standpoint? Somebody that's got a little bit more tournament experience, maybe somebody that's not, maybe they're not as intimidated by the other player, or maybe that, it's a match that, it's a head to head where you're like, hey, you know what, that player really wants that player, and that would be a fun match to watch. And then unfortunately, as we know from a captain's perspective, sometimes that, if you've got a player that's super, super strong on the one side, sometimes you almost feel like you have to sacrifice another player from a point perspective.
Yeah.
And that's the reality of it. If somebody's not playing well, and they'll say, they come to you and say, hey, I'm not playing well, that other person, 80% chance that other person's probably going to win a match anyways. So why don't you just throw me out against them, and then you can take a stronger player and put them against another player. So
exactly. And then there's always the chance that the person that player that doesn't think that they're playing very well has a particularly good day and has a match or somehow wins it, and then you're like, you took out a juggernaut and you weren't expecting it. So it's kind of like, we're expecting to lose that point. We gained a half a point, or we gained that point, and now that's a bonus. So,
and the nice part is, too, going back to the golf course and having a lot of these players have played it last year, they kind of, they kind of know a little bit of like, hey, I remember this last year. I'm a little bit more comfortable with this tee shot, or, holes like, short par fours or whatever. They're like, hey, I know I can go for this one. They may not be as tentative. Now, we do have some changes. We're going to get into the golf course here a little bit, that have changed up the golf course, with a couple of tee boxes and stuff like that. But for the most part, as we said, there's just a lot of opportunities on this golf course, which makes it really fun, really volatile for match play. It's not like you're going to get in there and have a match and then, somebody's totally out of it, even if they're a couple down, because as you said, all it takes is, start rolling some putts in, and away you go. And that's the fun part at this level. A little bit different than sometimes, I've covered some junior Ryder Cups and stuff like that this year. And, all of a sudden, one team gets way up and you can tell it's just going to be a waxing. Whereas, usually with the pros, it's going to be somewhat competitive.
Yeah, it always is. It always ends up being somehow very even after day one. And then it always comes down to the singles, which is kind of like the same with the Ryder Cup and kind of flip flops around as well. But new tee box on number 6 this year is going to be in play. Now it's not going to be in play for everybody in this tournament, but it will be in play for the most part for the regular aged players, I guess. It won't be in play for the women and it won't be in play for the seniors, but it'll definitely be in play for everybody else. And that really does change the complexion and the playability of hole number 6, because where the tees are now, the bigger hitters in particular can just hit it over the bunker on the left and down the hill and have a wedge in because of the slope of that. When you move that tee back, now that bunker comes into play more. It's not as easy just to fly. The bigger ball hitters can probably go down the right side a little bit more and miss the bunker altogether. But you're still more likely going to be up on top of that hill. And you kind of also want to make sure that you're short of the bunker if you're not going to be down the hill, because you might not get down the hill. And then you're left with a downhill lie, awkward stance into that really long, narrow green. And that becomes a really difficult approach shot. So you're almost better off to lay it back short of the bunker, have a longer shot in, but have a relatively flat lie to do that.
Yeah, so it's 460 par 4 from the back. They extended the back tee slightly more forward, so there's actually some playability there. You can play it more from 440 if you want, where that wasn't available before. And the issue here with this hole is that, it plays down some 60 feet, but is dead into the wind. So a lot of the times when that wind is up, and we see that for the flagstick.com shootout, is that, we can't use that back tee because it's just too far to reach the fairway. So now you can sort of creep up to the front part of the tee box if it's into the wind and make use of that and, vary it up. We'll see what we do. I mean, we get to do the course setup and we get to mess around with it a little bit of what we want to do as far as opportunities. But, as you described it, even though it's a long par 4, there's definitely some strategy that's involved with that. So
now number 9, we talked about for years with Jason at Smugglers Glen about this tee on number 9 and having something moved from where it was to a different location to change the sort of the look and feel of that hole a little bit. Now he's opened up a new tee deck on number 9 as well, which really has changed that hole. It was in play for the shootout this year. And I think the players for the most part really liked having the tee box there.
Yeah, it's a little bit longer, but again, it pushes the player from a strategy standpoint, whereas, it was very, very much easier before when it was, say 20 yards ahead of that, where it's like, okay, I'm just going to smash driver and I'll go over the rocks. It's a short par 4, but it's intervened in the driving area by some granite outcroppings on the left and the right and a bunker on the left side. So when you're on the shorter tees before, you just smash it over. Now you have to hit a very quality drive to make sure that you get over. We're seeing more players that probably consider kind of maybe laying up and laying back. And, if they do that, they end up back there at, 140, 150 yards, because if they've just hit an iron off the tee into a small green. So it makes the hole a little bit trickier, a little bit more risk reward. Putting a short wedge in your hand if you can blast it over the rocks on the right side. So again, that will come into, it doesn't come into play as much, I guess, in stroke play, but in match play, when you're making decisions, as we talked about the other week, and we were talking about the intricacies of match play, this really makes it interesting, because if the other player goes first and they smash it over the rocks, then you're like, okay, am I goaded into that, or do I trust myself as far as to leave it back, or do I feel I have to go up there? Or the opposite, if the one player goes first and they hit it shorter, do you like going, okay, I can get a little bit of an advantage here, but I got to take on that risk? Am I going to possibly lose the hole if all of a sudden I smash into the rocks or whatever? So pretty good that way. Now the other two tee boxes that now 11 you're about to get to. 14
well, you go ahead and talk about 11 if you want. Go ahead.
So 11 is stretched back as well, so it's a par 4. It is now it was 425 par 4, generally plays downwind. It's Hawks Valley is the name of the hole. No, where it was, if it was downwind a fair bit, there is a bunker that's on the left side that
they just blow it over that
narrows the fairway. If you're at a front tee, you can go over top of that, but it's very narrow. But when you get to the 425, if it's downwind, you sometimes have to lay back with a 3-wood to stay short of that if you don't want to go into that narrower area, because there's a hazard on the right side. Now it's 440 from the back, and it's about 290 to the bunker. So you can kind of, for this level of player, we'll call it a soft driver, that they can hit
all my
there
drivers
if it's downwind, or they can choose to hit 3-wood. But the problem with this hole is that if you hit 3-wood and you hit it too short, you end up into a low area where the ball stops really quickly, and you end up with a very long approach shot into probably the shallowest green on the golf course.
And you do not want to go over the back of that green.
No, and there's just no depth there at all. So that adds a little bit more, just another 20 yards, and adds another little element to it. And that's just helpful when you do get those prominent wind conditions that end up behind you, to get the length, so you can get that normal landing area kind of back into play. So,
and then number 14, there's a change to the tee box there. It hasn't changed the length of the hole any on 14, but just a little bit of a change in direction.
Yeah, so, and the look is a little bit different as well. That wasn't open during the Flagstick.com shootout, so we had to play the more forward tee.
Yeah.
Whereas a lot of times players are hitting an iron off there. Now you're on the original back tee, but it's much larger back there now.
Yeah.
And then all the rock outcropping that's in front is all cleaned off now.
Yeah,
so it's prominent, looks really good. You can see the fairway now. There's a little bit more of a visual from back there. And again, this is more about the difference between last year and this year. Whereas last year the players were playing forward. Mm-hmm. Same as on 9 last year. As we know, there was golf balls raining down on the green on 9, the short par 4. So we're back to the full length of the golf course and a little bit more. So we're going to have more flexibility, kind of as captains in doing setups and things like that as well, to make it very interesting.
So it should be very exciting. Strategy wise, I mean, there is a certain amount of strategy that goes into it, as Scott alluded to, as far as the way the course is set up, and the advantages that you might have, where I have a player like Bill Minkhorst that's a bomber, that can take advantage of reaching some par 5s in 2 easier, having shorter shots. So the partner that I might have him with, but at the same time, it's a best ball or a better ball. It's not a scramble. So having Bill hit the big ball and having someone else hit the short wedge, it's not how it works. It's you're on your own ball. It's just a better score. So Bill still has to play his own ball. It's just some holes might be of more of an advantage to him because of his length. So I don't know that I put as much strategy into that side of it as maybe my competing captain across the airwaves here does. But
I think maybe when you get to the Chapman portion of it, maybe some of the driving kind of plays into it as well. Singles, I mean, singles are singles. That's the
Yeah.
way it is. But I mean, that might choose. It's like, okay, as you said, when you're looking at the better ball, okay, do I have a player though that can make sure that they've got a ball in play, that the other player can maybe play a little bit more
Yeah.
aggressive? So that sometimes goes into the pairings a little bit. Camaraderie, we like
That's
to have.
probably the bigger one for me
Yeah,
is who are they playing with?
yeah,
And who might they be playing against? Like, how can
yes,
we match up? And generally speaking, too, when we do the matches, there is strategy involved with who plays against who, but we also try to create matches. Like
sure,
it's like
yeah, 100%.
it's not all just strategy for the purpose of winning a point.
Winning, right?
It's strategy
Exactly.
for the purpose of the event itself. Like there's
Yeah,
certain players you want to see them. We're not going to shy away from putting the two players that we want head to head,
sure.
for
Yeah,
the sake of playing them against, like, best on best here.
yeah,
It's not always just try to figure out what point, who's going to get the point. It's like, let's
yeah,
create matches. Let's create some cool
yeah.
little,
And some
uh,
people just
you
want
know,
to play together,
yeah,
right? And then we get some requests and stuff like that, and obviously we take that into account. And it matters who you're playing with. That it's like, okay, there's the person I get along with. There's the person we know each other's games a little bit. I kind of know kind of what they do. Yeah, so that aspect. And hey, as we said, it's nice to win, and that's part of it, but it's also it's a reward for going
yeah,
out there and playing.
absolutely,
So
absolutely,
we're trying to make sure it's fun, it's interesting. There's things to talk about after the first day.
yeah,
That people are like going, oh man, that so and so got that person. You want that oohs and ahs when all of a sudden those pairings come out and somebody's like, oh, they got so and so. That's
yeah,
those are important, just as important as well, because they want to see how those matches play out, because everybody sees everybody, but
hmm,
they're not always playing against each other except for just in tournaments, but they're not doing it individually. So
exactly.
it's nice sometimes to be going, all right, how would that person fare against that person? So
All right, well, there we go.
yeah,
Ping Challenge Cup coming up early next week,
yep,
and we'll have a wrap up of it
we will.
next week. Somebody might have the trophy sitting behind them while the podcast is going on next week, and somebody won't. So,
We'll
all
find out.
right, well, we're going to move on
Yeah,
and get to our second part of our back nine here. We're going to take a little bit of a tour. It's kind of a little bit of a course profile, I suppose, if you will.
sure.
It's perfect timing for this golf course. We're talking about the Mississippi Golf Club up in Almont. Um, and or I guess it's well,
Or
we'll say
Carlton
Carlton
Place.
Place because
Yeah.
that's probably easier for people to Appleton.
Yes, Appleton is the
Appleton, not
technically,
Alma.
yes.
Appleton, but Carlton
Yeah,
Place, that's most
yeah,
familiar to everybody. Been around now 110 years old,
yeah,
which is just amazing. I mean, think about the golf courses that we have around this region. There are a number of golf courses that are in that age category.
hmm
But 110 years is that's a
and
long
on
time.
yeah, and on the same property too. I mean, there's lots of
Yes.
golf courses that are have age to them, but they sometimes have moved to 2 and 3 locations. So the fact that they're on the same property that they started,
Hmm.
although slightly bigger, is kind of important as far as the history of the place. So
So it was established in 1915, this golf course.
mhm.
It was initially a nine-hole golf course and was known as the Carlton Place Golf Club. Shocking.
Yeah,
The original nine-hole layout was designed by the golf professional out of Perth, James Newman, in 1915, and then the club acquired some additional land,
hmm
and they had former head golf professional at Cataraqui Golf and Country Club, Dick Green, expand the nine-hole course. This was in 1970,
yeah,
and then in 1987, the golf course designer Graham Cook designed and supervised the construction of additional nine holes,
yeah,
making the Mississippi Golf Club officially an 18-hole operation in June of 1988. Um,
hmm
which is the basis for the golf course that we all love and
yeah,
see and play and enjoy today. Um, with some differences over
yeah.
the years. I've recently played it.
Yeah,
Um,
I was trying to think the last time I played it. It's been a little bit For me, I can remember going playing the member guest with Joe there,
Yeah.
a couple times over the years. But always enjoyed it. It's a
Yeah.
pleasant golf course. It's the regular host for the seniors, assistants, and women's championship on
Mm-hmm.
the flagstick.com PGA of Ottawa tour, and that has been that way for quite some time. It's a good members course.
Yes, very
I
much
guess
so.
that's a good way to put it, for sure.
The clubhouse that this currently sits there, a lot of people that play
Yeah.
Mississippi now have no idea, no inkling of what was the original clubhouse. The original clubhouse um, was uh, was an old historic stone farmhouse,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, this building um, was destroyed by fire in the fall of 1997. Now, little story.
You're very familiar with this.
Little story. I was.
Is it your fault? You were there.
I keep saying I had nothing to do with it, but it just freaks me out when I talk about this because I was playing there this week. And I played up there with my son Brandon and my brother Sean, who's a member at Mississippi, and we played. And I was telling the same story to a guy that we were playing with, Kyle, and Sean and Brandon, that in 1997, of course, Flagstick was started in 1996. In fall of 1997, I was sitting in the sort of, call it, it wasn't the main clubhouse sitting area. It was kind of like a patio area, a covered patio area off the back end of the clubhouse, and having a conversation with one of the OVGA officials there after an event. And we're just sitting there, talking and whatever. And it was late. And I'm like, oh, I probably should go. So got in my car, drove home, and got home, and then found out that the clubhouse at Mississippi Golf Club was on fire. And I'm like, I was literally just there.
I didn't do it.
I had nothing to do with this. I just was sitting there, and I left, and next thing I know, the clubhouse is burned down.
Yeah.
And I'm writing a story for the magazine and putting a picture. Back then there was no website to speak of. So it was just, when's the next issue coming out?
Yeah. I'll share this story in a month.
But it was crazy. And then the new clubhouse was built and opened the following spring. And with that too, they also ended up
flipping the nines
around, which is a really smart idea. I know why the nines were the way they were with relationship to the first tee in the pro shop, and now the first tee is on the other side of the road where 10 was. But 18 is a way better way to finish by the clubhouse, right by the patio there. Yeah. Unless you're not hitting a good shot in there and there's people on the patio.
Yeah. So the Graham Cook
nice that it finishes on the other side.
Yeah. So the Graham Cook 9 that was built is now the front 9.
Yes.
And it is played that way. So you start across the road is where you start out and play there. Why don't we talk a little bit? I mean, obviously it's, as we said, it's member owned and so forth, but why don't we talk a little bit about some of the key holes and stuff like that, whatever we've got time for here. But in going through, I mean, I know for me, there's particular ones that kind of stand out, but having played it freshly just the other day, what's the first one that sort of jumps out to you as you sort of play the golf course? We should say it's about 6,500 yards, par 72, so not overly long. So
no, definitely. I did not play it from 6,500 yards. I did play a couple of holes from the back, just because the holes are nicer from the back than they are at the from the white tees. But on the front 9 particular, I kind of like the starting hole. It's not fun. Particularly over. It's not long. I find it to be a little bit easier, a little bit better hole from the back tees. It's one of the ones that I would play from the. If you play it from the front tees, it's very short.
So
it ends
370 from the back and what?
370 from the back, 350 from the front. So 350 from the front, but if you play it from the front tees, the water is also short of the green, but not right in front of the green. Right. So you kind of have to hit. If you're playing it from the front, you're kind of hitting like a 7-iron off the tee
from the whites.
And then or a 7 or a 6 or 7-iron. It's just not. It's not, because you got to stay short of the water.
Sure. Yeah.
And then you got a longest shot coming into the green. It's just kind of, you're kind of reversing the hole. From the back tees, at least you can get out there and hit like a hybrid or a 4-iron or something like that, and then still have 140 yards or something into the green. So it's a better hole. I like the hole a lot. It just really looks pretty.
It eases you into the golf course. I mean, you don't have to smash driver or something right away, but it has some demands kind of right away, and it lets you sort of know that, okay, you know what, I might have to be a little bit more precise around here.
Exactly. I like the 5th hole, the short par 3. Very nice hole. And I like the 6th hole. So I like the kind of the combination of 5, 6. 6 is a really cool
around the
hole.
lake.
Yeah, 6 is a really cool hole once you get off the tee and you kind of it swings around the lake and the green is right next to it. Like it's really quite something.
Plays tight to that marsh, right?
Very much. The further away to the left you get, the harder that shot's going to be coming into the green too.
And how long's that hole around?
Number 6 is about 390 from the back, 350, 360.
But that normally plays in the wind, I think, right? Too.
It does, Now we played it. Best day ever to play golf anywhere.
Just calm.
Just calm as possible. Nice temperature out there, no rain, little, like just kind of one of those sort of 15, 16 days.
Perfect fall day.
Just so beautiful. No wind at all.
Yeah.
And Mississippi can be pretty windy sometimes. So I'm
going to back you up there. I'm going to back you up to 5 because you mentioned it.
100 yards. It's only a 100-yard hole.
Yeah, which is, you know what? I think there's a lot of underrated par 3s that are short, and I think there's too many. I know for the golf course that I play on a regular basis, our 3rd holes, can be 230 yards. And
Scott, hang on a second. Hold that thought. We're going to take another quick break because I want to get into this Mississippi. Stay with us. Okay. We'll be right back with the Flagstick podcast with Jeff Bonner and Scott McLeod.
How do you forge pure? With more pressure, more precision, more focus, more control. ZXI irons. Pure forged. Pure Srixon.
All right, well, welcome back to the Flagstick podcast. That kind of snuck up on us a little bit. So it doesn't always happen when we get. Sometimes we get going and the conversation just starts to roll on, and I completely lose track of time. And I kind of look up at the timer and go, "Oh damn,
all good.
Better get out quickly here before it ends up cutting us off." So, so let's continue this discussion about. About Mississippi Golf Club.
I was just saying about number 5 and the short par 3s. As I said, the course that I play on a normal basis, my home course, has got a 225, 230 yard par 3 on the 3rd hole. But we get a couple of short ones, but I think that's an underrated or a lost thing.
So underrated, Scott.
Yeah,
underrated.
And I think we saw that at the U.S. Open at Brookline, where all of a sudden we had a really short par 3 in there. I know we played ones like at Tobacco Road where there's a couple like 100-yarders, even sub 100 yards.
What's wrong with that?
There's not, and it's nice to have a variety. I mean, when you go to a golf course, and if a golf course all of a sudden presents you with the same club every time, it's fun to have a long one. But I mean, they don't all have to be that way. And the one thing about Mississippi is that 163, 107, 184, and 230, so you get a little bit of everything, which is nice for their par 3s, right?
Yes, 230.
Yeah, that one's a beast. I want to hear the story of you guys playing that. But anyways, yes. So, So I mean, you're right on that front 9. I think I think it's a fun front 9. I think it would be good. Even this golf course would be fun from a match play perspective.
Yes, it would be. It's very much a match play course too.
Yeah, I always like that loop with like you said, the 5, 6, and then 7. You've got a par 5 up the hill, and then 8 you've got a drivable par 4.
Like 8's awesome. Like 7 is for me 7's kind of like just average. It's still a good hole. So I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not like a crappy hole or anything like that. But it's very much a blind tee shot up the hill. You really from the back tees, you're probably, at least I'm not getting up the hill.
Okay.
From the front tees, I played the front tees on this one. From the front tees, I did hit it up significantly up.
And
the
it
hill.
normally plays into the wind, so that hammers.
And of course, there was no wind, so it was great. from the front tees, hitting it up on top of the hill leaves you sort of a fairly decent line of fairway to the green, which sort of drops down in front of the green and then comes back up. So you can't front pin, you can't really see.
Out of bounds, all right.
Yeah, it's right is dead. You don't want to go right. You're better off hitting a snap hook left because there's lots of room over there.
Sure.
So 7 is kind of like, it's a good strong par 5, but it doesn't wow you off the tee with visibility or visual.
I just
8
like par
is
5s.
Awesome. 8 is awesome. 8 is such a great, and it's a great spot. Now you can tell why when Graham designed this 9, he was designing the back 9. So you can tell when you look at a golf course, architects' designs, the way that they build the holes, and you see that sort of, you got a par 5 that's reachable, that's kind of straight away, not a lot of trouble, and then they hit you with sort of saying, here's your birdie opportunity, and you're looking ahead going, 8's a drivable par 4, but then you get to 8 and you're like, oh, wait a minute. It's drivable, but you're not flying it to that green because it isn't staying on that green if you do fly it. You kind of have to bring it in right to left and try to kind of chase it up the front part of that green, but that requires the average person to hit a draw.
Yeah, you have to hit a really good shot in order to do it.
Yeah, it's a very good shot.
Yeah, the opportunity is there, but it's just not laid out like a buffet. It's like, okay, you got to make sure to hit the right one. And as you say, when it was designed as a 17th hole, that's kind of it gives you that give or take sort of old school match play where it's like, okay, here's one that's available, much like 17 at Smugglers, which is a very similar length. It's that opportunity. It's like, okay, how can the match go? But you're going to have to hit a good shot to, make a 2 or make it easy 3. So
then when they reversed the 9s, of course, that took that sort of strategy of the way that 9 was designed kind of out of play. But 9 is a challenging par 4 from the standpoint of the green complex.
The green's tough. Yeah.
It's very, very hard if you hit it past the hole, especially, and if you hit it short and it's too short, it doesn't stay on. It comes on as Brandon found out. When you hit it high with a lot of spin and you land it on the front of the green, it doesn't stay. So you get that false front on the green. It runs all the way down to back down into the fairway. Tough hole, but it's a good 9th hole. I wouldn't have liked it as much as an 18th hole.
Correct.
But because of the length of it and the trickiness of the green, but I like it as a 9th hole. So you kind of get a little bit of that. You like 8 would be a good 17, but 9 is not a good 18. It's a good 9. So it closes off the 9 well. It leaves you with a very bad taste in your mouth if you hit a very good tee shot and a really good second shot that doesn't stay on the green and you make a bogey.
I sense
you up for 10.
I sense a certain teenager may have done that. So
no, he did. He had, interestingly enough, he had a really average front 9. I think it was 5 over on his front. It was not terrible. He drove the ball ridiculously good, but he wasn't making anything. And
really, I mean, it is a 9 where it's like if you drive it well, you should be able to take.
And I think that kind of frustrated him a little bit because he was driving it well. Brand new shaft in that driver. Found it on my workbench. Took it to GolfWorks. Had them put a ping tip on it. To be able to put in his driver. It was the right length already.
Perfect.
He likes it a little shorter, and it's a graphic design, YQ or something. I'm trying to remember the name of the shaft.
They have a million codes.
It was I don't even know. It's a legacy shaft, but all of a sudden it's like, this is the shaft. So
there you go.
For now, the experiment's over. Anyway, so the 10th hole,
Mississippi.
10th hole, great 10th hole. Would have been a great first hole too, which it was. But it's a really good 10th hole.
408.
Yeah, 408 yards. Tough green to hit. It's another one of those ones that slopes back to front, and if you get your drive in the fairway, you got to worry about out of bounds to the right because that's where the short game area is and the road. So you've got to kind of make sure that you're in the fairway because if you don't get if you don't get it into the right spot, you can't get a really good look at the green. And the green slopes, it has severe slopes from sort of back or back right to the front, and that makes it really difficult too. So, but I like that hole.
Yeah, and it's the neat part about this one, and people may not pay attention to it as much, but that 10th fairway sort of has that. It tells you you're on an old property because it's got that rumpled fairway that you can't just
rumpled. I like that. That's a good way to describe it.
It's just got that look. It's the same if you're down in like Highlands Links or whatever. It's you can tell that the fairway was shaped by hand, and it wasn't just an excavator making stuff flat. So it has all those humps and bumps or whatever. So it's that harkens back to that age of the time when it was built, and sort of reminds you that, oh yeah, you know what, everything's not geometrically perfect, and that's the way golf sort of was. So that's sort of that little reminder when you get on that. So look for that if you're on that 10th hole.
So then you get to 11 and 12. I like the holes. I'm not the biggest fan of this type of
big dog legs,
big dog legs and tee shots that you've got. I like you got to hit the ball over. Yeah. It kind of reminded me of the road hole at St. Andrews. We got to hit it over the corner of the hotel. If you want to hit the really good position tee shot on
11, you'd have to go over the maintenance shed.
Yeah, you got to go right over the. Yeah. You literally. And how do you tell yourself?
Yes, I know.
To aim it there. Like I hit it straight up the tree line.
Yeah.
And I was fine. Like I hit it straight up the tree line over the corner, and it was fine. But to really go at the green,
because it's only 360 yards, right?
Yeah, so you've got to go over, right over. How do you tell yourself to hit it over this? I mean, I don't know. I could tell myself that it's okay to hit it over there because there's no way that the fairway's over there.
I played a charity tournament a few weeks ago at Rivendell, and it was the same thing because it was a scramble. And I was on their 11th hole, and there's housing that's over there. And the guys, the line's like right over that house. I'm like, I'm trying to convince myself I have to go over this person's house.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, okay, that's maybe not great from a design perspective. No, and to be fair,
the houses,
if we look back in the difference in time for 11 and the way the golf clubs, and how far you would hit the ball and so forth at that time, maintenance shed wasn't probably there.
Probably not.
Golf balls, you're not flying golf balls 290 yards, so it's a little bit different design. So it sort of it gets, unfortunately it changes because of time. But you're right, these two dog legs, and then the same thing happens again on 12. It's a par 5, but to take advantage of the par 5, again, you've got to be aggressive and sort of take it over a kind of a fence line and a house that's over to the right side. So
now I hit it. I'm looking at your little diagram that you drew. I hit it in this bunker right here.
Okay.
And then I chunked it out of that bunker to where the number 12 is right here. Okay. And then I hit a 210-yard hybrid over here to the back left of the green and got up and down for par.
Awesome. Great.
And isn't that an exciting hole?
It's a 5 no matter what.
Nowhere near anything good for the entire length of the hole, but I made a 5. So that was all good. So 11, 12, good holes once you get out there, especially 12. I really like the approach shot on 12.
Yes. For sure.
With the green sort of tucked back left over there. There's bunkers protecting it. And it's a tough little shot in there. The green's a little tricky. So I really like number 12 once you're out there.
Yeah, because if you
hook it, I'm not a big fan of driving the ball across things like that.
And if you hook it left, you're sort of cooked as far as playing that one. So you definitely have to be, if you hit it good, you're fine. But for players that struggle, they're definitely, it's going to be a long par 5.
Yeah, so 13's it's a decent little par 3. It's pretty basic par 3. A couple bunkers on it. 14 is
pretty straightforward.
It's another straightforward hole. I think you hit it uphill. It's uphill a little bit, not a lot. It bends. It doglegs a little more than you think because of the way the tees are positioned off to the right. But
and not big green surfaces here either. That's the thing, as Jeff is explaining there. there's a lot that have a good amount of slope to them, and they're not massive. So, don't have a high expectation that you're going to maybe hit a lot of greens. You're going to have a lot of balls that are going to kind of roll off from the edge or whatever. So, my experience with it is that you end up with a fair number of, chips and pitches around the green. So it's a good thing they've got a chipping practice area, because you might need it.
Because you're going to need it for sure. 15 is kind of a straightforward par 5. It really is just straight ahead. There's a creek that runs across that you have to decide if you're going to fly it over,
right,
or if you're going to hit it short. I wasn't too concerned from where I was hitting it from that I was going to go over it anyways, and I knew I was going to be quite short. But I know there's other 2 people in our group that hit it fairly big, that kind of decided to take it on.
And definitely it makes you think off the back tee deck, especially if you're going to have some wind in your face. It's 520 from the back, and I'm not sure exactly what the yardage is to that bunker, but it's to the creek.
290.
So it's certainly in the landing area. It doesn't mean that if you hit short of there that you can't get home in 2, which again, you're never guaranteed. It's a par 5. Exactly. But it certainly makes you think. And if you have a situation where, the wind's not in your face and you're a big hitter from the back tee, you might not be hitting driver, just to make sure that you guarantee that you're going to be short of that. So,
and if you're a big hitter, you can probably still give it a rip in 2.
Yes,
if you hit it short of the creek, you can probably still give it a rip in 2, because I was significantly short, and I think I hit 3-wood for my second shot and was only about 20 yards short of the green. So and I do not hit it big, for those who are wondering.
And from what I remember, it's not a big. That one's not a big surface. I don't recall.
No,
you can remind me.
Big surfaces. It's not a big surface at all. It's long.
Yeah, and then things get really interesting for these last 3.
16 is an interesting hole. Now, I did not play it from back in the ridiculous tee spot.
Yeah, most people don't, because you're across the edge of the Mississippi River, having to play it across the river from 230.
So now here's the thing with 16. So 16 could be so much better than it is. It's just the problem with 16 that I see. In 16 is an awesome setting for that hole and everything. This finishing of 16, 17, 18 could be one of the most awesome.
16 is on like sort of a little peninsula that's on the edge of the river, so it's got
but the green is way away from the river, like way away from the river.
Yeah,
and I would have so. We talked about this as a group, and my son Brandon actually has redesigned 16.
Okay.
If they ever want to look at it, I'm sure he'll be happy.
If they were allowed, because you have to remember that sometimes they're not near the water because they can't.
Right. So in this case, I'm not so sure that they're not allowed to be, because there are other areas where they're closer, but we don't know the environmental impacts of what goes on there. But that said, it's 230 yards from the back tee, but it really isn't. It's 230 yards to the green middle, but it's kind of like a short par 4 in the sense that you could hit it from the back tees about, 150 yards across the water to the fairway. And then onto there's a lot of ground between the water and the green. So it's not like you're 230 yards from the tee to the green. The green it's all carry, or there's a little tongue in front. It's kind of a longish fairway that leads off that green. So it has length, but it doesn't have difficulty.
I always seem to think, when I remember going there and seeing it for the first time, and I didn't know where that back tee was. I just saw the 168 yard tee, and it just seemed like somebody thought it was a cool idea and put it back there. So I don't know, was it an afterthought? Because you have to remember, even if Dick Green in 1970, I doubt he would have made a 230 yard par 3. So
I don't think so. I feel like it was added later, but I mean, maybe somebody from Mississippi can fill us in.
Yeah, that would be great.
As to, was it originally back there, or did somebody put it back there to add length to the hole? So this is a situation where this hole has a ton of potential.
It does.
If they're allowed to do whatever they want to do, this could be one of the nicest par 3 holes in the region. If they were to use the property more effectively, if they're allowed to. If you're not allowed to, and this is what you got to do, then fine.
Sure.
But you don't need a 230 yard par 3 if this is the way it's going to be. Now, that said, I played it from the front tees, as did my brother
well, you played from the whites, not the front.
Yeah, the whites. Sorry, the whites.
Yeah.
So and it's not a particularly memorable hole from the whites. Brandon played it from the back tees, and we were all talking about how not too many people make birdie from 230. Brandon hits 4-iron to about 12 feet and makes the putt, and we're all just kind of standing there laughing. There should be cheer. You should be excited for him, and we're all standing on the green laughing because we literally just talked about hardly anybody makes birdie, and he makes a birdie on it from the 230 tee. So, but it just it lacks a little something, and then you come to 17 and 18. It's like wow, there you. 17, there's some things that you could probably do to 17 to spruce it up a little bit and move a tee, make it a little bit longer.
Yeah, just especially because you've got that opportunity with the water to the right side where it's like, I want to see this more than just off the tee.
Yeah, there's a lot of trees down the right side, and you got to hit it over the trees. So I would it would be nicer maybe if it was opened up a little bit. I know, like I said, Brandon's done some stuff with this. He's an aspiring golf course architect, so this is what he does. He draws stuff on Google.
I used to do that when I was a kid.
None of it may ever come to a fruition.
Correct.
But you just have these visions. It's like, I'm going to draw this out. And this is how this hole maybe should look.
I'd like to see those, actually.
Yeah. So, yes.
In 17, because I can remember, I think the last time I played here, because, you got to hit it so high to get it over those trees. And I'm sure they're just that much taller.
Yeah, I don't hit it high enough.
I can remember. I can.
Just so you know, I don't hit it high enough to get it over the trees. However, I will say that I do hit a sand wedge high enough to hit it out of the trees over the trees.
Okay. So, all right, fair enough.
You know me, punch out or hit it over.
Yeah. I could just remember hitting like a 5-wood or something off the tee to be able to get the launch early enough. It's not that my 3-wood and 5-wood wouldn't go the same
and the angle
height, but I need it early enough and to angle or whatever. So for a hole that's kind of 408, it's sort of again, you're never handed everything, and you're not expecting it's like, hey, I need a place I can hit it 300 yards straight in a fairway or whatever. I appreciate the difference in the design, but I always thought back then, and probably more now, that that tree line sort of hampers the hole a little bit.
Again, this is like a finishing stretch of holes on a really good golf course. This could be a signature stretch of holes, 16, 17, 18. They could be so much. There's potential to be so much more if they can financially, if they can environmentally, and if they wanted to. There is something that can be done there. 18 is awesome. I love the 18th hole. I love the fact that it's short. I know they probably, looking at the overhead of it, they probably have room to move the tees back and add another 30 or 40 yards to it. But if they did that, I think it takes the creek concept out of play. And it really, and it's a very narrow hole. And that creek from the back tees, you have to fly it is a fairly big fly to get it over it. It's risk if there's wind in your face. Big hitters are not going to probably struggle too much with it. They can bomb it. But for those that hit it between 250 and 275, that's a choice. That's a big choice to make depending on the wind, whether you want to challenge that creek or not. I don't hit it particularly long, so
it's only 340 total, but it's a nice finisher for a match, because if your match comes down tied to that hole, a lot of things have happened there, and we've seen it there in lots of tournaments over the years. I can remember a junior match play event, Brett Saunders smashing it across, and I forget who he was playing against, but again, because he smashed it across and close, it just set him up for an easy way to kind of finish off his match. But he had to make a decision. If you're 1 up and you're going into 18, it's like, okay, how aggressive do I want to play? I could end up being in losing the hole and end up having to go to extra holes when you actually have it in hand, as opposed to laying it back. So even if thinking it from a member standpoint, or for most people are going to be playing at 321, as you said, that puts a lot of demand on their game to have the nerve to go across. For sure.
Big time. So there you go. There's Mississippi. Cool. There's Mississippi in a nutshell. Just an awesome golf course. So the thing about Mississippi is very much, it's very much like playing golf in a park. Very much. It's this. You went into into some treed park somewhere and just wandered around, go for a walk, walk paths and stuff. That's what you're doing. You're basically just walking in a park. They got nice flower beds around the tees in some areas. They've got, lots of mature trees. It was really lush out there too. I'll tell you that. It was really, really green.
And not far to get to from Ottawa. If you're in the Ottawa area or whatever, you're like half an hour, 45 minutes to kind of get out there. Carleton Place is obviously, growing as a region as well. So for a lot of people that are in Eastern Ontario, not far to get there. It's just getting a tee time. Busy golf course.
Yes, it is a busy golf course. Now I was warned ahead of time that, well, not warned. I was told ahead of time that the greens would be maybe a little slower than some other golf courses that I might have played, just because they generally are very slopey, and they don't get the speed too quick on them, because that would make them very challenging. That I must say, I did tell my brother who told me that you lie, because these greens were now I don't know if it's just because they were coming off the Gordon Cup. Right. But the greens were very quick. Yeah. They rolled very true. They were very fast. The ball rolled out a lot. And they're very small, slopey greens. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you right now, that golf course, from the standpoint of a challenge, if you are playing it with those greens on a regular basis, that is some challenging golf. Some very challenging golf. There's hard greens to figure out when they're that fast.
And that probably helped the host course win the Gordon Cup this year for the first time in many years.
So, I wouldn't doubt that at all. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. That was pretty cool. A lot more conversation in the back nine than I think we originally anticipated, but that's kind of what this podcast is all about. Sometimes we just come up with topics and whatever comes out of our mouths comes out. It's a good conversation to have. So excited we could share that with you, with everybody. But that's enough for this week.
Very good.
We're going to get out of here. We'll have a wrap up of the Ping Challenge Cup next week. And who knows what else we'll talk about. Probably we'll talk a little bit about the Ryder Cup. Some PGA of America thing going on. We'll see if it's worth talking about. All right. Well, thanks to our sponsors, Metcalf Golf Club, Falcon Ridge Golf Club, and our presenting sponsor this week, Srixon Golf. At Srixon, performance is more than just a number, it's a feeling, and it starts with the Forge. Introducing ZXI irons with iForged, a groundbreaking achievement in shaping, pressing, and heating that's taken Srixon feel to an entirely new level. ZXI irons from Srixon, how Forged should feel. Visit Srixon.ca for more information and the complete lineup of Srixon products. Well, of course, we do hope that you have been enjoying watching and hearing what we've been bringing to you. Be sure to follow us across all of our social media networks, as always, Instagram, X, TikTok, and Facebook. Subscribe on Spotify, Audible, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. And don't forget, can't encourage us enough, do not forget the YouTube channel. Like us and click that notification bell to make sure that you never miss a single episode of anything, this podcast or anything else that we're doing up there. And get yourself over to flagstick.com. That's the main thrust of what we do here. Great content is published to that website every single day. And while you're there, subscribe to the Flagstick Digest newsletter. It's free, and it's delivered to your inbox 3 times a week, and it brings all that great information on the website to you firsthand. So that's about it. As always, we do appreciate you tuning in. But until next week, I am Jeff Bonner.
I'm Scott McLeod.
Always remember, go for the stick.